Hey everyone, this is Richard, CEO of Altcoins. In this trading video, I will give you an update on Bitcoin, both quick fundamental as well as technical analysis, because there's been a change since my last update on Friday, just a few days ago, where I predicted that the drawdown has been overdone, that some of the FUD, fear and uncertainty has been priced into the price of Bitcoin, and that we'll see a rebound by the end of July. And just a few days later, we're seeing that rebound. In fact, let's go ahead and take a look at the performance tab in the crypto screener, and you'll see that Bitcoin is up 5.5% in the last 24 hours, 13% in the last week or so. And of course, a lot of the altcoins rally with it. Bitcoin leads and altcoins follow big time. And so why has Bitcoin, rallied back in just the last few days? It's the things that I mentioned. The German government selling about 50,000 Bitcoins that they confiscated from the Movie 2K piracy website. That's been sold and absorbed by the market, very quickly. The Mt. Gox distribution that's still ahead of us, I believe, is also priced in, because a lot of the investors who are going to be receiving the Mt. Gox Bitcoin distribution have most likely already locked in their price by short selling Bitcoin already in the last few weeks. So that impact on the market price has already been absorbed as well. Now, at the same time, on the positive side, the inflows through the Bitcoin ETFs, spot ETFs, continued in the last few days. As you can see, in the last really week or so, a couple of weeks, we've had positive inflows as high as 300 million or so, and that obviously I think will continue in the long term, but even in the near term, I think buyers and investors are jumping on the opportunity to get into Bitcoin at lower prices, that was caused by some of this fear and uncertainty surrounding the German selling of 50,000 Bitcoins and the Mt. Gox event as well. So these short-term events certainly have proven to be opportunities to get involved in Bitcoin. There's long-term, obviously, the interest rate outlook is positive. Interest rates have peaked, inflation has peaked, so there's high chance of Fed reducing rates by the end of this year. And lower interest rates are generally positive for risk assets such as tech stocks and Bitcoin or crypto. But there's also another event that's probably helped some, which is that the odds of Trump getting elected has significantly increased following first the debate with Biden a couple of weeks ago, and also now obviously recently the failed shooting or assassination attempt at Trump, and that's also increased his chances of getting elected now. And why that's positive for Bitcoin and crypto is that Trump has professed that, or promised that he will, or his administration will be more favorable and friendly to cryptocurrencies and blockchain industry in general. We'll see if that's going to be the case, because Trump up until really just recently had been actually against cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin, saying that the only hard currency is the dollar. But he's changed his view, at least it appears to be the case, and the market is viewing that as a positive for the future of cryptocurrencies industry overall. A more friendly administration and friendly SEC, unlike what we've had in the last few years. And, some improved regulations would certainly help the industry overall. So that's certainly been, as you can see in this chart here, the odds of Trump getting elected at this red line have recently jumped as high as 63 or 65%. So that's one of the other events. Now, in terms of the technical analysis, let's take a look at Bitcoin now. There are some very important levels that the price has regained, namely the 200-day moving average. Let's extend this to 6 months, right? So the 200-day moving average, the price has broken back above it, and typically that's an indication of a long-term uptrend. We want to see the price continue to stay above the 200-day moving average. This was quite worrisome when the price dipped below it, but it appears to have been, at least for now, just a short-term blip, disruption in supply-demand. And so we're back above it. Not only that, we're back above the $60,000 critical level, which was supported in the past and then became resistance, right? It's clear that this is a critical level. As you can see in the past, this level 60,000 has acted many times as support or resistance. In fact, let's go ahead and look at our technical analysis, in which we indicate that there's been a break back above the $60,000 resistance zone. And what does that mean? Well, let's take a look at the RSI relative strength index in the live chart here. Relative strength index at 58. That's far from overbought. Typically we're seeing some local tops when RSI crosses above 70 right here, right? It's kind of when we see Bitcoin pull back, when it gets a bit overbought and pulls back and rallies again. Well, we're pretty far from that level. So there's still, gas left in the tank on this upswing, I believe. And I think that maybe not in the next week or two, but certainly in the next month or so, I believe that we're going to revisit that $72,000 resistance level. Maybe we'll pull back a little bit and retest this breakout level of $60,000. Would be likely another opportunity to get involved. But I think there's still a fair amount of even just in the next few days, a fair amount of upside ahead of us here. Like I said, it's not overbought. The RSI and even the MACD just crossed into a buy position, right? As you can see, well, back to the live chart here. MACD crossover just happened, a couple of days ago. It was a very timely crossover here. I mean, really timely. That would have generated us right there a 10% return or about 8% return. But it's still not too late. I think that we're very likely to have a pretty significant upswing from the oversold levels that we're bouncing back from. And like I said, the momentum is not overheated at all. So I think there's still upside here on this upswing. And certainly I see the price revisiting $72,000 in the next few weeks. Now, on top of that, as I mentioned, altcoins are also bouncing back, and there's some really nice trend reversal breakouts from falling wedge and channel down patterns. You can find these in our chart pattern, which is AI generated chart pattern recognition. And there's a number of breakouts here. If we just look for channel, let's see, falling wedge breakout, right? There's a number of emerging, but if we just want breakouts, we can further filter the results down to breakouts. So there's a bunch of these breakouts that are looking really juicy. Same for same for channel down as well, right? Those two are trend reversal patterns, traded very similarly, basically, right? They indicate essentially that the buyers have finally soaked up the supply from sellers at these levels, and the prices are ready to trend higher again. Now, maybe it's not a full-fledged reversal of the trend to an uptrend, but certainly on a near-term basis, at least on a temporary basis, these indicate that there's a trend reversal and that there's likely to be followed by some strength in the next several days. You can also find trade setups in our technical analysis section as well. So here we can once again just filter it out by following wedge, for example. Let's take a look at a couple that I thought were worth mentioning. One is Maker. Nice breakout from falling wedge, as you can see, and above. This is always very juicy or sexy or opportunistic when you see the price breaking and sort of there's the resistance levels that have converged and the price breaks all three of them. In this case, the price broke out of the falling wedge and through the trend line, the blue line. It broke above the horizontal resistance zone of 2,500, and it broke back above the 200-day moving average. I mean, this is, all the stars have aligned here, and we can see that strength. It's likely to go back to that 3,200 resistance zone. Now, another one that has not broken out yet, but it's on the verge of doing so. So this is an emerging falling wedge pattern, is for Phantom FTM, where as you can see, it's been consolidating in the falling wedge pattern. Now it's right at that edge of breaking out potentially. We have to wait for it. But what we can do, so the price needs to break out of the falling wedge through the trend line and above the 50-cent resistance zone. If it does, it's likely to swing back up to 60 cents, which would be about a 20% potential upside. So what I can do is set a price alert to alert me. Right here on the alerts, I'll say alert me when price breaks above 50 cents, or let's just give it a little more. Let's just leave it at 50. Okay, that would be. I can put a note here as well. Bullish breakout from falling wedge and above 50-cent resistance upside to 60 cents next. Okay, so that alert will then show up in my email box or under the alerts right here, as well as in my mobile app. So this is a good way to stay on top of these potential trade setups that are emerging but have not broken out yet. But we want to be on top of that and obviously react as quickly as possible. All right, well, that's it. I certainly would also mention that if you want to be first to get these types of trade setups and some of the best trade setups and market insights, I would encourage you to join our VIP Telegram group, which comes with annual and lifetime memberships. And if you have any questions, please email us at invest@altfins.com. Keep in mind that this video is meant for informational purposes only, not meant to be financial advice, and please do your own research. Good luck trading.